Welcome to the Polemic. My name is Zane Gustafson. It took me 2 years to write Polemic for Democracy, and I published it 1 week before the 2024 election. I didn't know who was going to win, so I wrote it in a way that it would be relevant no matter who won. Because the truth is that American democracy has been dying for a long time. The checks and balances devised by our founders have long been broken by our dysfunctional two-party system, and now a would-be tyrant occupies the White House. The escalation of political violence I had feared during the writing of my polemic is happening. In June, Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman of Minnesota was assassinated in her home. And in September, right-wing activist and provocateur Charlie Kirk was assassinated while exercising his right to freedom of speech. Violence begets violence, and we all suffer. There is no going back to the way things were. Now is the time to chart a new way forward, and that is why I wrote a polemic for real American democracy. This book is an aggressive argument for systemic reform, and some of the solutions may be controversial. But that's because anything that truly challenges the power of the two-party system and the oligarchs that control our politics would have to be controversial. Because I believe in real democracy for America, a democracy where every vote actually matters, where people can speak freely, where the economy works for everyone, not just the rich and famous. I'm talking about real American democracy, not the corrupt pseudo-democracy we've lived in for all these years. I record this in September 2025. The words of my polemic are almost a year old, but they still ring true, and they will continue to ring true as long as we do nothing to change our politics. Without further ado, here is Polemic for Democracy, published October 2024. This book might be too late. I started writing in February 2023 after years of obsessing over American political dysfunction. And after a year and a half of writing this polemic, my opinion of the state of American democracy and American society is largely unchanged. The structural problems that existed then have only grown more obvious and more intractable. 3 events this past summer epitomize the state of play in American politics. 1. Joe Biden's disastrous debate performance and the Democratic Party's internecine conflict about whether and how to replace him. 2. The Supreme Court's series of rulings which pave the way for further consolidation of power within the executive branch. And 3. An unsuccessful assassination attempt on Donald Trump making political violence a reality and escalation a real possibility. In response to the structural forces behind these events, this book makes 2 arguments. First, it argues a constitutional convention is the least violent path available to us. Second, it argues for a specific suite of structural constitutional reforms designed to address our present systemic dysfunction. Events are moving quickly, and it feels like things are accelerating. The paradigm in which this book was written and published may soon be made irrelevant, but the questions interrogated here go to the core of what it means to be an American and what it means to be invested in the idea of democratic self-governance. More than anything else, this is a book of political philosophy and, by definition, imperfect. It is my best attempt at coherent political thought in an era of anything but. This is my country and yours, and together we shall determine our future. We truly live in interesting times. The 2024 election is here, and only God could know what may happen next.